Hi there. When we moved into our house 18 months or so ago, as part of the fittings and fixtures was a rather fabulous electric range cooker. We had to work out how to use it a little bit because there weren't any instructions left behind, so there were a few months of trial and error, but it's a fairly simple beast in the end, and we think we mastered it. And I'd like to now introduce you to the workhorse of our kitchen, the Belling Cookcenter. So if I just turn this round and point it towards what we're actually talking about, and here we are. As you can see, it's a stainless steel fascia to it with black sides. We have a mirrored top which can come down, which has actually proved very useful in so much as when the hob isn't being used, you can leave the lid down, and that actually creates extra worktop space in the kitchen, which for us is often a very handy thing indeed. The lid lifts up quite easily. Got a little handle here in the middle, and there we go. That opens up to see what is now slightly less than pristine, but we have 4 halogen hobs in the middle, we have a warming area to the left, and we have a hot plate here to the right, which can be used in conjunction with a griddle, but we'll see more of that presently. Along the front of the range we have a row of very easy to use dials. Just basically push and twist, so quite straightforward to use. What would have been handy on this model that it doesn't feature would have been some kind of child lock, as our 4-year-old found these incredibly fascinating after we first moved in. But there we go. So coming to the buttons here for the hob, as you can see, it's a simple twist here in a clockwise direction, very easy. Each control has numbers 1 through to 6, depending on obviously whether you want a low, medium or high heat. And as you can see, we've got a glowing hob here because we've turned that one on, so when the hobs are on they glow quite a bright red, so it's very easy to see when the hob is actually in use. And to the right of the front panel here we also have a little indicator, as you can see, hob hot, and we have a little red light on here which shows us when there is still heat in the hob. So even though this has actually now gone black because there's no pan on it, we still have a light on here to show us that actually there is heat in that hob, so you need to beware. Again, comes in quite handy when we perhaps forget to switch things off after we've finished cooking. So to the left, as we said, is just basically a warming area, so you can just pop things on there to keep them ticking over and heated whilst you're waiting for other things to cook. And our ring here on the right, as I said, can be used in conjunction with a griddle, and basically you have this as a separate attachment that just sits on top of that hot plate, and the heat comes up through the griddle, and you can use this almost as a bit of an indoor barbecue really. You can do your burgers and your bacon, you could grill fish on it, pretty much anything you like really, even fry your eggs on the flat part at the back here. So say that's quite a useful addition to have. If you're wanting to do an all-in-one breakfast just on the hob area, then the griddle will let you do that. Moving backwards, we can see that the range has 4 doors, and basically we have 2 ovens, a top oven cum grill and a warming area at the bottom. So if we start in the top left here, this is our grill stroke top oven, quite straightforward. It comes with its integral grill pan, as you can see, so very straightforward and simple to use. And inside you have 2 different runners so that you can adjust the height that the grill pan is actually in the oven for, depending on how well you want your toast done in the morning. Underneath the grill, this is the fan oven, full of tins. We're a bit of a baking family, So the fan oven is great, it's quick, it's efficient, so it just means that you can cook things a little bit more quickly. The fan makes sure that the heat is distributed evenly throughout the oven, so you get a nice even cook regardless of which shelf you put your item to cook on. And sorry, the cat is just coming to investigate. Out of the way, Puss Chops. So our secondary oven is just a standard oven. So again, very handy to have the two, particularly at times like Christmas, when you're trying to juggle turkeys and roast potatoes and stuffing and all the gubbins that goes with it. That tends to be about the only time of year when we have both ovens going at the same time, but it does just give you that flexibility of use that you're able to have more than one thing on the go at the one time. You could in theory also be cooking a roast dinner in one and baking your cakes in the other, so a real multi-purpose range. And then underneath we just have an area here, again with a few more tins in it, and that's just a warming drawer essentially. So again, a bit like the warming area on the hob. If you've got things that some of your bits and pieces have finished cooking in the oven, others have still got a while to go, you can just pop something underneath here and keep it warm in the interim. So generally speaking, that is our range. You have various buttons on the front here that we haven't really utilised a great deal. This would normally display a clock if we'd actually programmed it properly, and you also have various alarms and timers where you can actually set the oven to be on for a certain length of time and things like that. So there are a lot of uses actually that we haven't really fully explored in this oven, but the simpler parts of it have kind of worked for us quite well. With it being a halogen hob, obviously it's quite easy to keep clean. No sort of nasty rings or things like that you have to try and scrub around. You can literally just wipe it over with a damp cloth or a bit of detergent and it comes up clean and simple. So all in all, a really good workhorse for the kitchen, very multifunctional, does everything we need it to do, and it's been a pleasure to introduce you to the Cookcenter. Thank you for your time.